For the longest time, when we talked about really powerful weight loss meds, we were always talking about the needle. But what if that's all about to change? Let's get right into it because a brand new pill is seriously shaking up the entire world of metabolic medicine.
So what's at the heart of all this buzz? It's a pretty simple idea, but honestly, it's revolutionary. A pill. A once-a-day pill that might just be as powerful as the injections we're all used to. And we're not just going to talk about it, we're going to look at the cold hard data from a head-to-head trial that pits this new pill, Orforglipron, against the current champ.
And listen, this isn't just talk or hype. The latest results from a huge phase 3 trial, we're talking published in the Lancet on February 26th, they're hinting at a major turning point. See, we're looking at a molecule here that works in a completely different way. And the results? Well, they're making everyone ask a really important question. Is being more powerful always a good thing?
Okay, so to really get why this pill is such a game changer, we have to rewind a bit. We need to talk about a huge scientific hurdle that's basically been a brick wall for researchers for years. It's called the peptide barrier. So, you've heard of drugs like semaglutide, right? Ozempic, Rybelsus, those are peptides. The easiest way to think about them is like tiny little proteins, and that chemical makeup is what makes them so darn good at what they do, but it's also their Achilles heel, especially when you try to put them into a pill.
And this right here just lays it all out plain and simple. When you swallow a peptide pill, your stomach goes, "Hey, food," and it does what it's designed to do. The acid just attacks and digests the drug, breaking it down completely before it even has a chance to get into your system and work its magic.
This is exactly why the only peptide pill on the market right now, Rybelsus, has all those super strict rules, right? You got to take it on an empty stomach, wait 30 minutes, just a little bit of water. It's a whole process. But Orforglipron, it's a totally different beast. It's called a small molecule non-peptide agonist. All you need to know is this: it's not a protein. And that means it can actually survive that brutal trip through the stomach. You can take it whenever, with food, without food, and for convenience, wow, that's a total game changer.
All right, so the million-dollar question is, how does this new, more convenient, non-peptide pill actually stack up in the real world? Well, the ACHIEVE-3 trial put it in a head-to-head fight with oral semaglutide. Let's get into the numbers.
First things first, let's talk blood sugar control. We're looking at patients with type 2 diabetes here. The highest dose of Orforglipron, it led to an incredible 2.2% drop in HbA1c. And remember, HbA1c is basically your 3-month average blood sugar. So a drop like that is a really, really big deal.
Now, to put that into perspective for you, the current leader of the pack, oral semaglutide, only managed a 1.4% reduction in the very same trial. So on this super important metric, yeah, Orforglipron came out way ahead, not even close.
Okay, so what about the other big one? Weight loss. In that same group of patients with diabetes, the average weight loss for people on Orforglipron was 9.2% of their body weight. And that's over a full year.
And once again, when you put them side by side, the difference is just wow. Patients taking oral semaglutide lost about 5.3%. So we're talking about a massive gap in performance. It's a clear win for Orforglipron.
But believe it or not, the story gets even better. Check this out. When you look at a different trial, this time with patients who have obesity but not diabetes, the weight loss jumped to 12.4%. I mean, let that sink in. As of right now, that is the best result we have ever seen from a once-a-day pill for weight loss, period.
But, and you knew there had to be a but, right? This is where the story gets a little more complicated. We have to flip the coin over. Because all this extra power, well, it comes with a pretty big catch. And that catch is tolerability.
This table really tells the whole story, doesn't it? In one single view. Orforglipron is the hands-down winner on blood sugar and weight loss, no question. But look at that last column, discontinuation rate. That's our cue that we need to talk about the side effects.
Get this. Almost 10% of the people taking Orforglipron, we're talking 1 out of every 10 patients, had to drop out of the trial because of side effects. That is literally double the rate for oral semaglutide, which was around 5%. And what was causing it? Mostly stomach issues. Nausea, vomiting, especially when they tried to go up to the higher doses.
So, let's recap. We've got a pill that's stronger, easier to take, but also causes more side effects. What does all this mean for the future of treatment? And the big question, when could we actually see this on pharmacy shelves?
Well, right now the drug is with the FDA and it's on a priority review track, which basically means it's in the fast lane. We're expecting to hear a final decision on its approval sometime around the middle of 2026.
And it looks like the manufacturer, Eli Lilly, is betting big on this one. They are clearly expecting a tidal wave of demand. It seems like they've learned their lesson from all the shortages we saw with other drugs in this class, because they've reportedly already stockpiled more than $1 billion worth of the stuff, just waiting to go if they get the green light.
You know, maybe the biggest impact here, long-term, is all about accessibility. Think about it. A simple, effective, once-a-day pill. It doesn't need all the hand-holding and specialist visits that some other treatments do. This could be what finally moves advanced weight management from being a thing you only get at a special clinic to something your regular family doctor can prescribe. And that could open the door for millions more people.
And that brings us right back to the core question, doesn't it? This new pill proves one thing for sure. You don't need a needle to get that double-digit weight loss. But it also shines a massive spotlight on that classic trade-off between how well something works and how well you can actually tolerate taking it. It's the big question that doctors and, more importantly, patients are going to have to grapple with.